Hi guys, it's Chris here from the Zombie Box Project. Just a thought, because I'm in the Orient at the moment, I have recruited a new temporary member. Say hello to Tom.
Hello, I'm Tom. How you doing?
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, I'm a bit of a gamer myself. I'm into the sort of more mainstream games than these guys are. Like sort of the Call of Duties, the FIFAs, that sort of stuff.
So basically evil gaming.
You could call it that, but...
Okay, no. It's about time for us to get down to business. And today we are previewing Soul Calibur V. Okay, so the floor is open. The pros of Soul Calibur V. Okay, so we've been watching some gameplay demos and some trailers. I think one thing they've really brought on is the character creation. Have you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I really liked it in the old game. It's probably my favourite thing about Soul Calibur 4. I think the ability to sort of make your own character kind of personalises the game a little bit for you, so you can kind of create your own little sort of development scheme thingy, and you could always end up with a sort of consumer base of people trying to copy other real characters, like...
Oh yeah, I've seen that done before.
Yeah.
I mean, have you ever played a WWE game?
Yeah, I've played the odd bit, but you played it on the PSP once.
The thing I like about that is that you could customize movesets, and you could do that on Mortal Kombat as well, the older Mortal Kombat, not the most recent iteration. You could customize the movesets, the characters you create. I mean, do you think Soul Calibur should include that? Because I'm not sure they do this time. It's just copying again.
Well, it'd be nice, but then again, it's quite high-level development. They could be waiting for other games to come out. I mean, I think one thing that FIFA does quite a lot is the fact that I think they leave out things that they could improve, so they can improve them in the next game. So you kind of end up buying.
Yeah, okay.
You kind of end up buying the same game, but with the added bit they already knew they could have added in. But they're just trying to get you to buy the next installments.
It's been a while since we had a new Soul Calibur. It's been about 2.5 years since the new Soul Calibur has come out. So do you think there's a bit of space for upgrade?
Well, yeah. Yes and no. In fairness, I think there was definitely problems with the old games, but like.
I think they had some balancing issues for one thing.
Yeah, I mean, examples.
Like Killick.
Yeah,
Killick could reach across the entire. It's one of my reasons he was my favourite character.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and some characters
made me rage so much when you play with him.
And some characters could put out just loads of damage and be really fast. Cervantes.
Oh yeah.
Good example.
Mhm.
Undead Pirate.
Yeah.
All good.
I think bouncing issues are always big in games. I mean, like.
Street Fighter is pretty smooth in terms of balancing, I reckon.
You reckon? Well, I guess it all kind of works for... It's like what works for you, isn't it? I mean, like...
Yeah.
We never play as the same characters, do it, if we play against each other.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's good to mix them up, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I could never play as Killick or anything like that. I'm more for a Maxi sort of thing. Yeah, Maxi was in Soul Calibur 2, he's coming back in Soul Calibur 5. Crazy nunchuck-wielding maniac.
Looking good.
Yeah.
Oh, he was like your favourite character.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, about the hidden characters, we've got news that Ezio Auditore is coming. What are your thoughts on that?
Pretty cool. Although, I think it's kind of... I don't like some bouncing issues on him as well, because, in all fairness, you cannot... Ezio, I can't see him losing.
In terms of realism, I'm not sure how... Because Ezio, the whole point of Ezio is an assassin, doesn't he? He's not supposed to be a head-on fighter. Is including him in a fighting game a mistake?
Well, it could be, but... In all fairness, he does end up turning into a full-on fighter in most of the.
Oh yeah, that's fun, but it's kind of like it's rhythm-based fighting. He's not one to draw out a fight. He's like one or two hits and dead.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, because basically in Assassin's Creed you play the sort of, well, if I play it, it's like play the defensive and then counter-attack and sort of instantly polish them off. I mean,
yeah, that was how you won Assassin's Creed 1. Yeah. You just spam that.
But I mean, if you try to introduce that into like a Soul Calibur, you just end up like.
Well, they're all counter moves. There's always been counter moves, but they're never quite as...
Yeah, they're not one-shot kills.
They're not counter kills, yeah.
He'd be incredibly overpowered. I mean, I saw the announcement trailer for Ezio entering the game, and I mean, they showed a couple of moves, and they all actually look like the assassinations that you get in, and most of them involved you fully impaling them or flipping them around.
Well, that is coming down to a con, isn't it? So I suppose that would bring us to the con section of this report. Okay, now onto the cons. I see your last point. Do you want to expand?
Well, yeah, as I was saying, like, you get very human characters. I mean, along with the sort of nightmare characters you get in Soul Calibur, you get very human ones, like the sort of Siegfried, big, like muscly knight people, and you get the
Yeah, so you basically get some human characters alongside Astaroth, who's quite literally a god of war. He's like Kratos in another form.
And I'm wondering how. I mean, obviously, Nightmare's can take a couple of hits to the chest, or maybe like that sort of thing. But
Yeah.
when it comes down to it, I mean, a sort of vaguely feministic Japanese man taking a massive hit with a hammer bigger than the world, smashing him into a wall, which cracks the concrete, and he falls down, doing about as much damage as a sort of smack to the chest.
Or a kick in the case of Yunsong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. But then again, they couldn't really have it realistic. Otherwise, suddenly you've got it's primarily it's a weapon-based fighting game. That's one of the reasons it's one of its selling points. I mean, the only other like weapon-based fighting game is Mortal Kombat, and even then you can turn weapons on and off usually. So,
I mean,
if you had like Soul Edge and Soul Calibur doing as much damage as someone's like, they've got to match up with someone's nunchucks basically.
yeah.
Otherwise, suddenly you've got a character. It's back to balancing, isn't it? We're back on the balancing issue. As soon as you've got like a great sword which does as much damage as a nunchuck, it's a fair game, but suddenly it's unrealistic.
Yeah. I mean, that kind of problem, although it's like obviously quite difficult to avoid, I think with the storyline they've put into it, they might need to put a little bit more thought into how weapons match up.
They should cover it up, basically.
Yeah, I don't
Or they give everybody a magic weapon.
Yeah, they say, oh, these nunchucks are the spirit of a dragon or something in them, and like...
Okay. Well, but that still wouldn't explain why you could get smacked in the face with them if you're being smacked by a dragon.
I mean, at the very least, they could try and equalise the fantastical elements of each character. I mean, there's a big difference between Voldo and kind of an immortal old man with crazy claws and that sort of thing, and then you get a kind of staff-wielding Killick who's pretty human in comparison, I mean.
Well, I think if you look at it, most of the characters in Soul Calibur aren't really normal humans. I think the whole point of Killick was that he got a piece of Soul Edge embedded in him originally. That's
pretty hard.
He also, at one point, he had a magical staff which needed to, like, suck up Soul Edge.
Okay.
And, like, possessed him. So, I mean, none of them are completely normal. I mean, let's face it. You've got an alchemist in Ivy. You've got Cervantes, who is undead.
Yeah.
Apparently he's normal in the next one.
Really?
Yeah.
How does that work?
I know, right? Do you know what they've done? So they've followed Cervantes along the path of Barbossa from Pirates of the Caribbean. At one point he was a zombie pirate, the next minute he's a British officer. It's like the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know how they're going to do that.
Well, they have. I don't know how they're going to, like, justify it. It comes back to the point, I think characters change just a bit too often. Like, we didn't play Soul Calibur 3. We played Soul Calibur 2 on the GameCube. That was our first Soul Calibur. Okay, and let's say we got Raphael in that one. Raphael was kind of an Italian fencer style. It was kind of, he had a nice different style of attack. He dodged mainly as opposed to countering. It was quite a cool character to play as. So we sort of got onto Soul Calibur 4. He looked pretty similar, and you've got those added like kill moves, like special ending moves, basically fatalities. And all of a sudden, we're playing as him, and he's suddenly draining blood from somebody, and somewhere along the lines, he has become a vampire.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't quite get how they can justify taking quite a nice normal character and turning him into a vampire. Perhaps it was to balance the fantastical elements of the characters, or to maybe justify him surviving over the length of time Soul Calibur goes on, because it's a very long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seemed a bit crazy. And with that, we're going to move on to the verdict. Now, audience, once again, the heavens will unfurl and bless upon us the Awesometer. So, we've discussed it, we've deliberated, but now the Awesometer will give us our final verdict. Soul Calibur V is going to be on the verge of awesome. Well said, Awesometer. Well said. I think what it comes down to, basically, is there are some errors in the design that they haven't quite fixed in the space between Soul Calibur 4 and Soul Calibur 5. Now, if they were to fix this in Soul Calibur 6, let's face it, they're going to make, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. Possibly one of the best fighting game franchises.
Yeah.
At the moment, I think it sits quite calmly below Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter and Tekken.
Yeah.
But it holds kind of an important place in my heart. And hopefully I will see it flourish as a game franchise. Thank you for watching this episode of the Zombie Box Project. Hope to see you on Thursday.
Bye.